Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and today I have my mid-year inventory. Now of course this is going up on August 1st and we are a little bit past the mid-year, but I told you guys that this video was coming a little bit late just because of the amount of work that goes into pulling everything out of my cupboards and of my drawers, taking pictures, doing all my numbers, but I do have everything together to go over my inventory numbers. So of course, this is looking at everything that is in my beauty spreadsheets. So we'll be looking at all of my different categories. Like I said, I do have pictures that I have taken of all of my products. I also have comparison numbers from the beginning of the year and then the midpoint, which that would be my midpoint is basically the end of June. So anything that you guys saw come into my collection, which you guys haven't seen July buys and buys, but basically anything that came into my inventory or into my life after July 1st is not included in these numbers because those will be included in the end of the year. Goodness gracious, Erin. Long-winded intro, which I usually don't, or I try not to have long-winded intros. Usually I have long-winded outros, but we're going to go ahead and get into the spreadsheets, the numbers. I also have comparisons between last year and this year as far as my, because again, I felt like this was really interesting to see how many items came in, went out, and also got decluttered between the quarters of the years and things like that. Before I run my little intro thing, I did want to let you guys know I did use my what did we call my dupe of the Natasha Denona Gloom palette. So if you guys didn't catch my Project 10 uses and my No Pan Left Behind, it is the video that I posted before this one. But I basically went into my mini collection that are all depotted. Again, I feel like new people are going to find my inventory video and they're not going to have any idea what I'm talking about. So I have depotted all of my Natasha Denona mini palettes. I have 8 of them. They're in that pink sparkly palette back there, but I did pull 5 shadows from those 8 and I made my own mini gloom, and that is what's on my eyes today. I do have all 5 shades on my eyes today, and I would say that if you have any palette that kind of reminds you of like Secret Garden vibes, you already have the mini gloom. Just saying that. Okay, let me go ahead and run my little intro. Let me get my graphics pulled up and we will look at my mid-year inventory for my beauty collection for the middle of 2025. Okay, so inventory time, and I have been doing diligent tracking of my inventory for the past few years, so I have a lot of like numbers to reference and I have a lot of data to reference, and I am quite surprised. Now, I will say the main difference when we get towards the end where I'm looking at my overall numbers, there's a big difference between last year and this year because I did end up adding in like body care and nail polishes and fragrance, I think it was. I started tracking those in my numbers. So there was a large jump in my numbers from last year to this year just because I started tracking those other categories. But we will go category by category and look at my inventory. So first little graphic that will be popping up on the screen is going to be my primers. And so at the beginning of the year, I had 12. Middle of the year, I have 11. So I did pan 1, didn't declutter any, and didn't purchase any. You guys can see that I have a lot of the e.l.f. Jelly Pop primers on there, and that's because it is my favorite primer. And you can also see the one on the end that is looking very, very low. That actually just got finished up today. So that is another empty for the year, but at the middle of the year mark, I did still have 11. Now, I know I did see the sneak peek and then I saw it that e.l.f. did re-release the Jelly Pop for the summer. A lot of times they do that like every other year or every year, and I swear by this primer. Not only that, but you get more product for the same price of their like gripping primers, like the green and the pink one. You get less product in those compared to the Jelly Pop, and they're the same price. So I am totally cool with having 3 years, 3 years of Jelly Pops in my collection. I am totally okay with that. And then the other primer that I have there is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty. I don't have any thoughts on that one. It is what it is. I don't use it enough to actually like say that it does anything, but we're not going to get into reviews of every product, Erin. Get your mind, this is numbers, we're going to run through this. Well, this is going to be a long video. So if you guys have a drink or something, I just made myself a cup of coffee, but this will be a long video. So if you guys need to put this on in the background to get something else done around the house, please do. So rolling from primers into foundations, I did start the year with 5. I now have 4. I have panned 2 foundations and I decluttered none and I purchased 1. So I do have the Misha BB Cream, the Fenty Eavesdrop, the Urban Decay Face Bond, and then the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. The one purchase is going to be that CC Cream, and my 2 panned ones were the Estee Lauder Double Wear and the Tier Foundation. So that Misha one is looking really, really low. And also I was finally able to put a new mark on my Fenty skin tint, and I'm about halfway done with that one. So I am hopeful for at least 2 more foundation empties for the year, but that's how we're looking in foundations. For my, I call this category my mixer category, because either I am mixing in the like say Super Glowy Gel to be glowy, or I'm mixing in the e.l.f. Halo Glow and Tan to darken up my products a little bit. So obviously those are my 2. I started the year with 2. I still have 2. No pan, no decluttered, no purchases, because these are the 2 that I've had. You guys are watching me complete the Say Super Glowy Gel in my regular project pan, and I am panning the e.l.f. one in my deck of panning as my Joker product. So you guys are definitely seeing those get used up as well. I do think that both of those will be empties by the end of the year. So we will have to see what that category is looking like by the end of the year. But we're rolling next into powders. So I started the year with 11 and I currently have 9. So I have pan 2, no declutters and no purchases. I have the Makeup Forever Powder Foundation Compact. That one lives in my purse. Then I have an e.l.f. Halo Glow, the Kosas Cloud Set in Candy. I have a Rimmel Stay Matte, and then the rest of them are Nakia Joy powders, either the loose Velvet Finishing Powder, and I also have a Velvet Pressed, and I have a Velvet Pressed in pink. So those are all of my powders. Obviously, the Nakia Joy one is my Holy Grail powder. But what I end up doing is I actually mix in a container of the e.l.f. Halo Glow in with the Nakia Joy one that I'm currently using. So I kind of do a twofer, and so basically when I get done with that amount of product, I have panned 2 powders. I will say for all of my pressed powders that I'm actually using, so the Makeup Forever, the Kosas, and the Rimmel one, I have pans on all of them. So I am consistently using my pressed powders as well. This next category, my lord, this one blew up, and you guys saw in my last buys and buys that I ended up purchasing a lot of concealers, mainly to mix in to make other concealers work for me, which again is not necessarily a good reason to buy more products, but it is what it is. I will get through these concealers. So I started the year with 5 and I currently have 7. I have panned 3 concealers so far this year. So that's the big part that I'm like, okay, I've already gone through 3. So we're still looking okay. I decluttered none and I purchased 5. So that purchase of 5 is that big jump that we saw. But mainly it's because I am trying to mix things together to get those products to work for me. So like the One Size concealer, whenever I finish that one, then I will have essentially finished the One Size and the LA Girl concealer together. So I am looking at it that way, that while I technically have 7 in my inventory, when I am done with one, I'm really finishing 2. But still, don't be like me if you don't have to. If you feel comfortable decluttering products that don't work for you, declutter them, pass them on. I don't like to do that for myself. I like to find out ways to make them work. So that's what I'm doing. But it was at the expense of me buying more products. So that is definitely a category that went up quite a bit for me. But let's look next at SPFs. I try to keep this category very manageable, and I do wear SPF every single day. And so I started the year with 4. I have 3 now. I panned 2, I decluttered 1, and I purchased 2. So I'm kind of on a repurchase only, like I guess you would call it a repurchase. What? This keeps bothering me. I keep seeing it in my monitor and it's going to bother me, but hey, welcome to hair. So I am on a repurchase only. So whenever I use up or I'm close to using up an SPF, I will bring another one into my collection. The one that I decluttered is the Vacation Spray-On SPF, and I actually kind of decluttered that to our truck. So it's still technically in use. It's just not something that I'm tracking because it's going to be something that if my husband and I are out and about, or if he's at a competition, or if he's out at the range or something, he has that he can just spray on himself and we'll use it up that way. And then the e.l.f. Suntouchable, I'm actually thinking about decluttering that to someone else or decluttering that to like my body sunscreen area in my bathroom because that is not my favorite. I got that as a free gift with purchase from e.l.f. I did not select that for a free gift for myself. So I actually do not like that product. So I think really for me, my main purchases for sunscreen are going to be the Sun By Me one and also the Eye Unique, which the Eye Unique is, I think that's going to be my holy grail sunscreen from now on. I am completely content with just repurchasing that sunscreen over and over. So this is what I'm looking like at sunscreens. And I know, I told myself that I wasn't going to give reviews and then I'm giving reviews. I know, I don't need you guys telling me. I know this about myself. We're going on to brows. So at the beginning of the year, I did have 9 brow products. Now I have 7. I did pan 2, decluttered none, and purchased none. I've told you guys I have about 3 years worth of brow pencils, so I am good. And then also the 24-hour brow setter is my holy grail. Pick your brow stuff up during Brow Day, which is like the 1st or 2nd day of October, when both Ulta and Sephora will have a bunch of brow products 50% off. So I usually stock up during Brow Day. Just a little hint for you guys out there. So stock up during Brow Day, get your stuff 50% off. But we are, like I said, we're sitting at 7, and I am okay with that because everything that is in here right now is holy grail status. And I know it's going to work for me. So we are good with where our brows are at. Another category that jumped a lot, and this is where maybe I need to talk to you guys and talk to me about, like, again, if it's YOLO purchasing or the fear of missing out purchasing or something like that. But I started the year with 4 bronzers. Now I have 6. So I did pan 1. So I panned my Juvia's Place powder bronzer, decluttered none, and purchased 3. It's the purchased 3 that I didn't need. So I do have 3 of the Soul Body bronzers. The one that's open, I actually probably will finish that one in the next couple months. So like I go through those routinely, but it does take me almost a full year of use to get through one of those bronzers. The Milk Makeup one I did get in a FabFitFun, so of course that came into my life through a subscription box. Of course I did pick it as my selection, so like I still chose to bring that in. but that is something that came in through FabFitFun. Then I have my 2 powder bronzers. But the Soul Body bronzer ended up on the like last chance page on ColourPop, and I freaked out that they were discontinuing that product, which I think the one that I'm going through right now is the 5th one that I've gone through. So like this has been my cream bronzer that I've used for years. I freaked out a little bit and I bought 2 of them. So I probably have 2.5 years of cream bronzer right now sitting in my collection. So definitely don't need any. And I probably have about 2 years of powder bronzer sitting in my collection right now. So definitely don't need any more bronzers for a little while, even though bronzers still do tempt me, but definitely don't need any. We'll have to see. I'll have at least one more bronzer empty before the end of the year, but definitely I don't see anything more than that unless I can get through the Milk Makeup one, which I have panned one of those before. I just don't remember how many uses it took me to pan one of the Milk Makeup bronzing sticks. Now let's look at blush. So this is a category that I think it's always going to be what it's going to be, but that's because I really enjoy blush. This is a part of my makeup routine that I really enjoy. So I started the year with 20. I have 21 currently. I did pan 1, I decluttered none, and I purchased 2. So I did pan my Ofra Chiclet blush, so that'll be my 1 blush empty for the year. And then my 2 purchases are those 2 liquid blushes, so the one from Rare Beauty and the one from e.l.f. Those are my 2 newest purchases. And I think that I'm content with my blush collection. And I think that I told you guys in my Project 10 uses that I appreciate having my blushes in that project because it makes me reach for all 21 of them. Just because I was like, look, if you're going to have this many blushes, you better use them. So I appreciate that I am at least getting through, 10 uses on each blush throughout the year. But definitely that is a category that I don't need anymore, even though I'm really itching to get a new blush. But the last time I purchased a blush was, actually, no. The last time I purchased a blush was those 2 cream ones, or those liquid ones. Before that was January of 2024, whenever I bought the Natasha Denona My Dream blush. So it has been a long time since I've purchased a powder blush, and I'm itching. But I'm holding off, but I'm itching for it. But let's roll on to my highlighters. So I started the year with 5. I still have the same 5. Of course, highlighters take forever to get through, but I do have pans on all of my highlighters, which is fabulous. And really 4 of those highlighters are in a highlighting palette. Just I have them split up into their individual products because if you have watched my channel for any amount of time, if you've watched my highlighting repressing video from last year, every one of those pans of highlight came from an actual like individual highlighter that I repressed into that palette. So I count them as 5. I've panned none, decluttered none, purchased none. I don't really see me purchasing a highlighter anytime soon, just because I'm completely content with what I do have. Let's roll into setting sprays. So I started the year with 8 and I am now at 6. I do typically go through, I think like 5 or 6 setting sprays per year. So this is kind of manageable. For the year, I've already panned 2, so I will realistically pan 2 more by the end of the year. Decluttered none, purchased none. The ones that I have are from Gerard Cosmetics and then also from e.l.f. I am curious to try those 2 other e.l.f. ones. The green one, that's the dupe for the Milk Makeup, and then the lighter green one apparently is a dupe for the Urban Decay setting spray. So I am curious to try those out, but I will definitely have my setting spray category well managed by the end of the year. So that category doesn't bother me at all. Let's look at lips because my goodness, I have gone a little bit lip crazy over the past couple years, but I'm just really enjoying playing with some new formulas. And so I started off the year with 15 lip products. I now have 21. So I did pan 3, I decluttered 1, and then I purchased 10. It's the purchase 10 for me. But of course, I do have my Pillow Balms, which is my favorite, like, liquid doe foot balm formula. I do have my little lip stain collection, which has grown this year because I've gotten into lip stains. 2 from Sephora, 1 from Romand, 1 from e.l.f. I have my lip balm formula, so a couple from Summer Fridays, then 1 from ColourPop, and then 1 from Ulta. That one from Ulta you guys will see in my buys and buys that will go up in a couple weeks because I purchased that in, then that shouldn't be in here if I purchased it in July. Either way, sneak peek, it's in there. It's in banana, so I mean, you guys heard the story about sexy banana, so like that had to go in there. You guys know. So that one's in banana. And then I have a lip product from NARS, another one from ColourPop, Sephora gloss, Bobbi Brown gloss, NARS, the like whipped matte mousse thing, and then some lipsticks from Sephora, ColourPop, Pat McGrath, and Hourglass, and then of course my Laneige lip sleeping mask in watermelon. So that is what my lip category is looking like right now. I do feel like I'll be able to get through some of those lip balms this year, and I am also working on the Pat McGrath lipstick as well. But the last couple years, I have gone a little bit crazy on the lip products, but I'm consistently, I think, using up like 18, 19, 20 a year. So that still kind of puts me in that good zone. But let's look at my lip liners. So I started with 2, still have 2. Still the same 2. I'm currently working on Brink, and then after that I will start working on Good and Plenty, both from ColourPop. So pan none, purchase none, decluttered none on my lip liners. Mascaras, I've gotten really good at just having what is being used and then like 1 or 2 waiting in the wings. So I started with 4, I now have 4, but the 4 that I started the beginning of the year with, I've already used those up. So we are now on a new rotation of 4. So I do have the Maybelline Sky High Voluminous from L'Oreal. I have the Clinique High Impact, and then I have a mini from Lancome. And decluttered none, purchased 4, so I basically did a swap 4 for 4 for my mascaras, and I'm going to continue with kind of having, I have 2 open right now and then 2 kind of waiting in the wings, and so I will kind of stick with that for the rest of the time. Now eyeliners. Just like my blushes, my eyeliners, they get the better of me. And you guys just saw in my Project 10 uses that I rolled a bunch of eyeliners into that project, and I'm totally okay with that. But at the start of the year, I had 22. I now have 25. I have panned 1 eyeliner, and actually I kind of feel like there's going to be another one that I'll be able to finish in the next couple months. So that will feel good. But the thing about my eyeliners also is that my shadow sticks are in with my eyeliners because I'm more likely to use a shadow stick as a liner rather than an all-over shadow on my eyes. So I do have quite a mix of ones in here. The little nubbin at the end is from Wet n Wild, and that thing probably needs to be retired, but it still does the job. So, you know, I'm keeping that around, but that's just an inner rim brightening shade. Same thing with the one next to it. It's a brightening shade from LA Girl. Then I have my Clinique liners, my Makeup Geek, my NYX, ColourPop, Urban Decay, and then my shadow sticks. The shadow sticks are from ColourPop, and then the one on the very end is from Bobbi Brown. So I did pan 1, decluttered none, and I've purchased 4 liners in the first part of the year. So I do not need to buy any more liners for the rest of the year. We will put it that way. Next, we are on to eye primers, and I started with 2, and I currently have 2. I did pan 1, I decluttered none, and I purchased 1. So I panned the Milani eyeshadow primer, and I purchased the MAC paint pot. Now, it'll probably take me about a year and a half to use up the paint pot. I've used up 1 before, so I'm going to be good with the paint pot for a little while. I'll probably have to repurchase the NYX glitter glue sometime in early next year. But this is all I need for eye primers. I need something to blank out the canvas and kind of blank out my veins on my eyes, and then I need a glitter primer. That is all I need, so I'm perfectly happy with those 2 for a long time. Now we're going to roll into some skincare. So usually I leave my palettes for the very end because it is my biggest category. So we'll go through all of my like skincare and miscellaneous categories, and then we will roll into eyeshadows. So for moisturizers, I started with 7 and I currently have 5. I did pan 2, decluttered none, and purchased none. So I've had all of these moisturizers since last year, and I, again, am starting to work through them. I have both of the Dr. Jart ones and one of the e.l.f. ones open right now, just because the Dr. Jart products leave my skin a little bit more matte. Like, they're nourishing, but they leave a matte finish. So those ones I will wear, you know, if I know I'm going to be outside a lot and having a more hot and sweaty day. But the Holy Hydration one from e.l.f. is kind of a holy grail. I do love that one. But let's look at my daytime skincare. So I started with 12, now I'm at 15. I did pan 4, decluttered none, and purchased 6. So the big bottle over there, it's basically the Tower 28 SOS spray, but it's just the chemical product. And it comes in this liter jug for like 20 bucks on Amazon. So you do not need to pay Tower 28 prices for this type of product. But I do have that. I have a Glow Recipe product. I have is it Haro Haro Wonder Water? I have that toner, have not started using it yet. Then I have 5 of my Holy Grail face washes from Innisfree. I have a milky toner from Paula's Choice. I have 2 of my Innisfree hydrating serums. I have the caffeine solution from The Ordinary. I have the vitamin C serum from Goodall with a refillable pack, which I wish that they would just sell the refillable packs, but you kind of have to buy it with the bottle and the refill, versus I wish that they also just sold the refillable packs by themselves, because I would just keep buying the refills. But I do have an Ole Hendrickson eye cream, and then I also have the niacinamide serum from The Ordinary. So those are all of my daytime skincare products. So nighttime skincare. This is going to go across 2 different slides just because I needed a lot more room to take the pictures. But I started off with 22. I now have 24. I panned 7. I decluttered 1. And I purchased 11. So as you guys can see through the top of this picture, those are all of my face masks. Now, some of these did come in multi-packs, and so like the ceramide one from Dr. Jart, the yellow one, I actually have 5 of those. While I do have 5 sheet masks from that pack, I consider just that pack of 5 as one product. Now, I don't get to consider that product done until all 5 are done, but just wanted to explain my numbers. But I do have the Dr. Dennis Gross peels, which I have not tried yet, but I know you guys gave me some suggestions. I have some eye patches from Patchology. I have some serums from The Ordinary, so I think that's lactic acid. Let me zoom in on my pictures. Oh, that doesn't help me. My eyes are not that good. But I know I have lactic acid, I have the marula oil, I have the retinol with squalene, and I have the hyaluronic acid. So those are my 4 serums from The Ordinary. I do have a product from Herbivore, which is an AHA serum, and then I have my pimple patches. And then looking at the second slide here, this is more of like my washes and my like moisturizers. So I have my Vani creams, I have my Centella cleansing oils. These are my favorite cleansing oils. I have two of them because one's in my shower and one is by my sink. I have two of the Murad AHA BHA face washes. I have one open right now and one in backup because I ended up purchasing one at Ulta half off, and then the other one came as an option in a FabFitFun like a month later. I do have a Beauty of Joseon eye cream, the retinol one, and then I have my Clinique Take the Day Off balms. I have an AHA toner from Some By Me, and then I have my Different Gel, my AHA peeling solution from Paula's Choice, my alizac acid, and then I have a night retinol cream from Azure. And I usually find those at like Marshalls and TJ Maxx, but I use that as like a neck cream at night because it has that retinol. So that is all of my nighttime skincare. And then let's go ahead and move into body care. So, of course, in body care, I don't track like deodorants and stuff like that because, or like bars of soap, because those are things that I'm going to use anyway as hygiene. The rest of this stuff is like, this goes beyond hygiene. This is me wanting to feel good or pamper or have a special scent of something. So I started the year with 13. I now have 15. I've panned none, decluttered none, and purchased two. The two that I purchased are the hemp sugar banana lotions that I showed in my last buys and buys, and that's because that's my favorite scent. Actually, it's hiding behind my flowers, but you guys will always see one of those back behind me. So the two opened hemp ones, one is here, one is in my closet, and then I have two in backup. Again, I want to smell like a sexy banana. So, which hopefully I've popped me back on the screen and the graphic isn't here. Editing Erin, do that. Andy sent me a screen grab of a Skylar perfume that apparently is coming out that has banana notes, and I need to smell it because I need to smell like a banana at all times. But I have lots of hemp's banana lotions. Then I have two sugar scrubs, one in peach, one in peppermint pearl. One's in my shower, one's by my tub. I have the different body wash. A lot of times before I went on my medicine, I had a lot of chest acne, so that was helpful for that. And also before I went on my medicine, I had a lot of issues with KP. And I still have like the redness, but I don't have the bumps. So I don't really use the different body wash anymore, but if you are struggling with some body acne or with some KP, I do like that, and I found it for like $6 at Marshall's. So my little PSA about that. I do have 2.5, so two big tubes and a little tube of the Paula's Choice BHA body moisturizer. I have a Caudalie mask that I have like demoted to my body care just because it's super old. But again, I used to use that on my chest and or on my arms. If I was having a lot of flare-ups, I would use that clay mask. I do have a shave oil from Tree Hut, and then I have my body oils. So I basically took those 3 body oils, I mixed them together because between the like coconut oil smell and the shea butter smell, I smell like a tropical dream. And that's all. Mix that with the banana, and I am a happy, tropical, greasy person. That is how I want to live my life. Don't mind me. That's how I want to live my life. Let's roll into hair care. So I started the year with 11. I now have 14, as Jane is over there huffing at me. And so the main thing with this, so I panned 1, I decluttered none, and I purchased 4. The 4 that are considered purchases is actually a gift basket that my mom gave me, and that's the Moroccan oil stuff. So that I did not purchase on my own. My mom gave me a like holiday gift pack with that stuff in it, so I am currently using that. But I have a large shampoo from Verb, and then I have a smoothing like Wonder Water product from Amika. I have a priming spray from Ava NYC. I have the shampoo from Wow. I do have a Palmer's coconut oil hair like mask stuff. I can't spray that into my hair as like a hair oil because it's too heavy, but I will saturate my hair in that as a hair mask. Then I have the Wow like glossy spray stuff. I have a mini of that. A conditioner from Shea Moisture, the shampoo and conditioner from Moroccan Oil, the large jumbo of the Verb Ghost Oil, the Moroccan leave-in spray stuff, which actually that's really good too. I do have a little like kind of mini of the Moroccan Oil treatment. I haven't tried that yet. I still have that dang Ordinary Hair Density Serum that I had last year and said, hey, I need to use this. Have I used it? No. Will I declutter it? Also no. So we'll see. And then I have the Verb Hydrating Oil, which, telemarketer. The Verb Hydrating Oil, I actually sent that out to somebody through friend mail today. So that is actually a declutter from my collection. But since it went out today, it has to be counted in my inventory. It'll just be a declutter for the end of the year. But we will see how I do with getting through my hair products. My perfumes. Whew. And I know I talked to you guys about my perfumes, and I'll have to talk to you guys again next buys and buys. I'll have to talk to you about fragrance again, and I'm going to have to start charging myself out of my beauty budget for it. Put it that way. But I started the year with 10. I'm now at 12, but I did pan 2. So I did pan 2 fragrances so far this year. I decluttered 1 and I purchased 5. It is the purchased 5 that we will have to talk about because that number went up again. So I do have my Toy 2. I have my Billie Eilish number 1, my Burberry Her Elixir, the Kayali Rock Sugar, whatever, that one. I have the Milk Commodity, or the Commodity Milk is the correct way. Then my minis, the one on the end is new. That one I just got in my FabFitFun, and for the life of me, I don't know what the name of that one is. Maybe editing Aaron will be kind enough to pop that on the screen. Then I do have my Kayali Bougie Marshmallow, the Marc Jacobs Perfect. Oh, I have 2 of the Marc Jacobs Perfect. The one that is like less in the tube, or actually in my pictures it almost looks empty, that one stays in my purse, the other one's in my closet. The Valentino one I'm currently using as a room spray, and then I have 2 body sprays, one from Sol de Janeiro and the other one from Fleur. But 5 purchases for fragrance so far, and again, that number's going to go up even more from July. So we will talk about that in my buys and buys and what I'm going to end up doing about my fragrances. I don't regret any of my purchases. I just need to talk to you guys about them. So let's go on to nail polish. And this is my last category before we look at my palettes. So nail polishes, I started the year with 27. I still have 27. That grew a lot because for Christmas, my husband did get me the Mooncat Star Wars collection. He got me the whole thing. So that did add 7 polishes to my collection with him purchasing that gift box for me. But I have panned 1, I have decluttered 1, and I purchased 2. So the ones that I've purchased are actually just top coats. So everything else has been in my inventory since last year. The one thing that I did not include in my inventory is the Olive and June like drying drops. They don't really do anything, so I don't know if I would use them for anything, but I'm considering that kind of like a nail polish tool, kind of like I consider my like thinning drops. So I'm not counting those in my actual nail polish because those will end up getting used or not. I don't know. I don't consider those as a nail polish, but the items that I have gone through and the items that I have purchased are clear coats. So top coats. The one that I decluttered was Holo Taco Menchie the Cat because it dried up. So That is what we're looking like. But all of my nail polishes are either the top row is from Holo Taco, the middle row is from I Love Nail Polish, and the lower row is the Star Wars collection from Mooncat. So let's look at my palettes. So this is like the category that actually went down, but that's because I decluttered, and I decluttered with you guys. So I started the year with 79 and now I have 76. Now I didn't pan any because I'm not going to pan eyeshadows, but I did declutter 5 and I purchased 2. So all of my pictures are the same as at the end of last year, except for where I have added palettes. So I have every single Natasha Denona mid-size palette except for Xenon. So I'm not going to run through them all because I have every single one except for Xenon. I do have Natasha Denona Metropolis, and then I do have my 8 mini palettes that are in my my big palette that I showed you guys during my No Pan Left Behind. So you guys have seen that palette before. On this slide, of course, I am no longer completely featuring Ensley Rain on my channel, but I do have these palettes in my collection, so they are in my inventory. But the main palette that is new since the beginning of the year is the Bella Beauté Bar Vamp palette. So that did get added to this slide because I have the Basic Witch, I have Vamp, and then I also have one palette from Glaminatrix. This slide is going to look the same with my Odin's Eye, my Cosmic Beauty, and then also a single palette from, that one has Sydney Grace and Makeup Geek in that palette. This slide is also going to look the same, and so I have my Lethal shades, and then I have my Viseart, and the round pans are my ColourPop Give It To Me Straight. You guys would have just seen me roll that palette into my No Pan Left Behind because I am going to be using the Viseart Apricot palette, which is in there as well. The rest of my ColourPop palettes have stayed the same with In a Trance, the 3 Star Wars palettes. The Depotted one is the ColourPop So Jaded palette, and then we do have the Winnie the Pooh palette. This slide is exactly the same with Tati Beauty, Huda, ABH, and then Sigma. This one is the same except for, actually, as I'm filming this, my purple palette is not complete. So I'm going to take another picture of my purple palette, and the picture that you guys will see will be my completed purple palette. So I do have my Pat McGrath and then also my purple single palette in here. And then this last slide is my Urban Decay and my Too Faced. Now, what has changed and where my 5 declutters came from is from my ColourPop Super Shocks. So I do consider my potted singles as their own product, where I do not consider my singles that are in Z palettes, they are not their own product. But I did end up decluttering 5 of my ColourPop Super Shocks, and so that is where we're seeing our numbers dip. So that is what my inventory is looking like as far as by the pictures and kind of telling you guys what has gone in and what has come out. But let's look at the big picture with my numbers. And this is where my numbers changed a lot because, again, perfume and nail polish got added into these numbers from last year. And I feel like I'm losing my voice. Only been talking for 45 minutes, but I feel like I'm losing my voice. I will try to also remember to link the Google Sheet, link to my inventory pages. So if you guys are interested in setting up your own inventory, you can have the link down below. Now, if you click into the Google pages, not pages, Sheets, I think it's called Sheets with them. Or is it pages? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's the Google Drive stuff. Copy and paste that formula into your own Excel program. Do not try to edit it in Google, or do not ask permission to edit it, because then your sheets and your numbers is stuck on my Google Drive, and that does nobody any good. So I will try to remember to link that down below. So starting off with 312 products. I did pan 17 products in the first quarter. I decluttered 8 and I brought in 24. So if we look at my overall numbers, I only went down by 1 product. So between my panning and my decluttering and my purchases, I only went down by 1. That is the number that is kind of concerning to me. And again, I might have to do some reflection and more research into the numbers of what was so different. But we will have to see what I come up with. Maybe I'll have to come back. Maybe that will be at the end of the year when I reflect a little bit more, or that might get popped into a chatty get ready with me where I ramble about my thoughts. Because apparently I like to do that. But with that, I ended quarter 1 with 311 products. Now, if I look at quarter 2, starting with 311, I panned 24, decluttered 3, and then I purchased 39. And I don't know where that number comes from. But when I look at my actual numbers, that was the 5 concealers, the 5 lip products, the 4 mascaras, the 4 skincare daytime, 4 nighttime skincare, 4 hair care items, 3 perfumes. Like that, those numbers add up quickly. Like when you think about, oh, I only brought in, 2 of this, like 2 SPFs. But if you add that with everything else you're bringing in, that was close to 40 items. So by the end of quarter 2, I had added 12 products to my inventory. So I started July with 323 products. Now, something that I think I have to remind myself about these numbers is that my nail polishes are not going to go down drastically, and that's 27 items. So if I think of 27 items that are not going to disappear anytime soon, like I get it. But also I have 76 products that are in my eyeshadow category. So again, that is 76 items out of there that are not going to disappear without me decluttering. So even though I do have a fair shot of actually panning some nail polishes this year, so I'm not like looking at my nail polishes as this category that's never going to get panned, because I am doing a good job at using my nail polishes. I actually have Bring Me the Teal with one of the Star Wars polishes over it. I think it's like Galaxy Far, Far Away, which is just a like silver glitter over top of it. It's very New Year's Eve, but I'm okay with it. And Bring Me the Teal got rolled into my Project 10 uses, so I have to use it. But that is what I came up with for my nails today. So I am using my polishes, but I look at these numbers and I get a little bit concerned. And this is also coming from somebody who was like, I have like $500 in my beauty budget that I haven't spent. So I also look at myself, and this is not the way to think about any of this, but I think to myself, it could be worse. Like I could have spent that $500 and I could have more products in my inventory right now if I wanted to spend all of my beauty budget, but I haven't. So I have a little bit of reflecting to do in my own head about what I want. But let me look at some other numbers with you guys. So if I look at my numbers from 2024 to 2025, the big difference that I'm going to see with my starting and ending numbers is that those numbers don't include my nail polishes and my perfumes. So I'm not necessarily looking at the starting and ending numbers. I'm looking at the panned and the purchase numbers. So if I compare quarter 1 of 2024 to quarter 1 of 2025, I panned 35 items in quarter 1 last year. What was I on? I almost feel like I need to go back and like watch my buys and buys, or look at something and look at what the heck I was panning, because I must have been eating my makeup. So 35 compared to 17. Declutters was 2 compared to 8. Out of those 8, 5 of those were my super shocks. So again, we're kind of on par with decluttering if I take away the super shocks. The purchases though, in 2024, I purchased 52 items in quarter one. I know that like 13 of those were the e.l.f. Jelly Pop primers, so like I get it, but I purchased 52 items quarter one of last year compared to 24 this year. And then also looking at the comparison, I was up 15 products last year where I was down 1 product this year. So again, like I try to wrap my head around the numbers. And sometimes like to me, I look at these numbers and I'm like, the math isn't mathing, but then also like I get it. So that is quarter one comparisons. With quarter two comparisons, again, I'm not necessarily looking a whole lot at my starting and ending numbers because those don't reflect the same categories last year from this year. But I was pretty on par with, I panned 28 items last year and 24 items this year. I decluttered 5 versus 3, but I purchased 34 versus 39. So actually quarter two kind of feels normal. But I think the big difference was that last year I was only up by 1 product in quarter two versus this year I was up by 12. So again, there's a disparity. That is not a word. That is not a word. I know discrepancy is a word. Maybe I'm just going to have to use discrepancy. Hi, baby. You just drank water and now you're dripping all over me. Thank you. You guys can see my shirt is now wet. That is from a baby dog. For you guys who haven't seen the dogs in a little while, this is Washburn. He is going to be, look how big his head is compared to mine. He's going to be 2 years old at the end of August. So he says he is a big boy and he is so good. He is so sweet and he is rocking my camera and he just wants to be around mama at all times. I am his emotional support human. My husband is not the same. That is the backup human that does not cut it. So, this sweet boy, are you good? Thank you. I don't need you licking my face. Can you be done? Hey. Thank you. Can you go lay down? I'm almost done. I am now covered in dog hair and slobber. So, welcome to my world. You guys will just get wet shirt dog hair me for the rest of the video, but at least you got to see the baby dog. So, numbers, don't even know where I'm at. But the numbers to me, like, they're not making sense in my head. So, I know the numbers are right. They are just not making sense in my head. So, I'm going to have to go back and kind of fiddle with my thoughts with what's going on in my inventory. But as I look at all of my, as Anar's over there scratching, I don't know if you guys can hear that too. But as I look at all my categories, I feel okay. Like everything has a spot. Nothing, well, apart from my eyeshadow palettes. My eyeshadows are, they have a spot, but I had to create new spaces for them. But everything else has a place. Like all of my lip products fit in this one little lip organizer in my drawer. Like everything has a spot. Now my lip thing is full, so I would need to empty something before something new came in. But I don't feel like there is an overwhelmingly like overflowing issue with my items right now. Now, is 300 items a lot? Absolutely. But also I'm counting all of my daytime and nighttime skincare, which my nighttime skincare and my body care lives in my bathroom. So it's still not taking up room in here with me. So do I need to purchase any more skincare for a little while? Absolutely not. Did I purchase more skincare yesterday? Yes, I did. So again, we will talk about that. So I do feel like I'm starting to like see that number like the monetary number build up in my beauty budget, and I'm starting to feel like, oh, I can spend, which is not the right feeling. So that is why I need to maybe have a conversation with myself and then have a conversation with you guys in my next buys and buys. But that is where I'm sitting with my inventory. I hope that you guys like the way that I do this with actually showing you guys the products and showing you what I have. You're also able to see that I'm using my products. You'll see windowing, you'll see tubes that are squished down, you'll see my binder clips on things, so you guys will see the pans. You guys see that I'm using my products. So hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what's back in these drawers back here and what I am consistently using. But I keep looking at this eyeshadow look and I do like it. So it's not enough for me to go out and like purchase the Gloom palette on its own. But if Natasha Denona did a mid-size palette, that would be like Secret Garden. But I almost feel like I could take retro and retro glam and mix them together and make my own Secret Garden palette. So this is kind of what I think retro glam should have been, is this. So maybe I will do some moving around of my shadows just to see how I feel about them. But otherwise, that is my inventory. I feel like my brain was like jolted the other way when Puppy came to visit, but that's completely okay because I know you guys love seeing the puppy dogs. But I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to encourage you to do all of the YouTube things. I'm going to encourage you to hit a thumbs up on this video if you like what I'm doing over here. I'm going to encourage you to hit that subscribe button if you are new or lurking. I'm trying to hit 3,000 by the end of the year. And over here, I do project planning, conscious consumerism, beauty budget stuff, psychobabbles, like accountability with my collection, all of that jazz. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. And then also my puppy dogs do pop up from time to time to say hello to you guys. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how you guys are doing on your inventories. Let me know if there's any categories that you're kind of struggling with, the way that I'm having to kind of like have a little come to Jesus with myself about fragrances. Are there any categories that you're having to do that with yourself? Let me know how you guys are doing. I love hearing from you. I have gotten back on track with replying to y'all's comments, so I hope that we can have more conversations down below. But otherwise, I am going to wish all of you guys a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.